See, I think there are two ways in which people are controlled. First of all, frighten people, and secondly, demoralize them. An educated, healthy, and confident nation is harder to govern. And I think there's an element in the thinking of some people. We don't want people to be educated, healthy, and confident because they would get out of control.
Take the first step towards online privacy. Get NordVPN.
I invested £25,000. Today, that investment is worth £5 million.
Say hello to our hero, the Hydrogen Energy Release Optimizer. Limitless power, zero emissions.
There are indications that we are going to be facing another pandemic. That's right, another pandemic. Well, in this video, I'm going to be talking to two doctors to find out how we can prepare for this pandemic so that we maintain our health and support those around us whom we care for. Hi, everybody. This is Crypto Rich working with you to get healthy and stay healthy. I'm joined by Dr. Anne McCloskey and Dr. Pat Morrissey. I'm delighted that both have been on my channel before, but I've got them together now, and they are two experienced general practitioners, and we're going to be talking about the plans and the preparations for the forthcoming pandemic, and we know because governments have been saying so, and we're going to be covering what we can do to keep ourselves safe and healthy. Now, before I introduce them, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT, join my official Telegram announcements channel, and you must follow me on Odysee, bit.ly/CryptoRichOdyssey, because I post material on Odysee that YouTube doesn't like, and YouTube have recently changed their policy about medical misinformation, which essentially means that anything that goes against standard allopathic pharmaceutical interventions could face being deleted or censored in some way. Now, if you're watching on Rumble, come over to Odysee as well, because again, I post more material on Odysee, and that's because Rumble just lists my videos from YouTube. Now, not all this video is going to be on YouTube, and that's because of YouTube's censorship, but it will be on Odysee in its entirety. Okay. Hey, Pat. Hey, Anne. Thank you so much for making yourselves available. Do one of you want to start by saying a little bit about yourself, remembering that we are on YouTube right now?
Well, hi, Rich. Good to see you again. It's not that long since we had a fairly long chat recently. My name is Anne McCloskey. I am a GP in Derry in the north of Ireland. I've worked here, I worked as a doctor for 42 years, I think. I worked in paediatrics and child care, child health, community child health, and then became a GP. And I had actually retired from medicine and got elected as a local councillor. And then came El Pandemic, first terrible pandemic. And I went back to work to help the NHS in its time of greatest need, and got to see things that I suspect someone who has no filters was not supposed to see, and I spilt the beans. So I got suspended after having retired. I think that's probably I wonder, is that a word first? Yeah, I got suspended from the General Medical Council from being registered after having retired and deregistered. So yeah, strange times, strange solutions for strange times. So that's me.
Right. Okay. No problem. Pat, glad to have you back. I know you're having a few problems with your internet. I think you might be having them again. Anne is in Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom of Great Britain, and so the service that you provide is under the NHS. And Pat is in Southern Ireland and under the Irish Health Service. Pat, do you want to very quickly introduce yourself, remembering that we are on YouTube?
Right. So, Pat Morrissey, I'm glad to be on with you again, Rich, this evening. I'm a GP from Limerick in Ireland. I've been working here for the last 20 years in my own practice, and COVID has set me at variance, let me say, with most of my medical colleagues. I'm an independent thinker, and it means that I have wandered far from the herd,
right,
so to speak. But as COVID has evolved, as time has passed, I am sticking to my views. The evidence is strengthening my views, and I'm quite happy to keep practicing individualized care for my patients and keeping them healthy. So
okay.
Yeah.
That's very good. Now, do remember that we are still on YouTube for this bit, okay?
Yeah. So
You were very careful, very careful. So individualized care. So that's the idea that if, for example, you were treating me, you'd look at my individual health profile and what my needs would be, which would be distinct, say, from Anne's or from my 16-year-old daughter's or from my 19-year-old son. So you wouldn't necessarily have the same blanket recommendation for us all, would you?
no, I think that blanket recommendations coming from ivory towers, whether it be in Geneva or Dublin or London, are not a really good idea. And in actual fact, medical regulatory councils would advocate individualized patient care. I've seen that is the best way to optimize patients' health, is to look at their particular circumstances. But the doctor-patient relationship throughout COVID has been attacked and interfered with by the social distancing and the masking.
Whoa, hold on, Pat. Hold on. I'm going to have to stop you because we are on YouTube, right? And it's very, very important when you're on YouTube to follow World Health Organization guidelines. You must do as you're told and not think for yourself. I mean, because the Tedros and the other people at World Health Organization, they're paid a lot of money. So who am I to contradict what they say in terms of my own health? They know my health and my experience and what's good for me better than anybody.
We should. I agree with you, Rich. We should definitely listen to what they say very, very carefully.
Obviously, there's no question of them getting funding from the people who manufacture the products that are required for masking up and sanitizing and jabbing and the rest. So, I mean, obviously, they're above reproach in that regard. So it's all good.
Yep. They are indeed, right? Now, why I asked all of you, both of you, all of us to get together is because there are noises that there is a pandemic coming, another COVID pandemic. I don't know if this is disease X or something new or whatever, right? So what we're going to have a conversation about is how best to prepare for that, because there are people who didn't take the injections first time round, shock horror. And then there are people who had one shot but didn't have any more. And then there are people who had two but didn't have any more. And then there are people who've had even more. What should all these groups of people do? So we're going to talk about that, and then also the validity of masking and social distancing and lockdowns, because, oh God, here we go again. And I think I can't carry on. We're over to Odysee. If you want to hear the rest of this conversation, bit.ly/CryptoRichOdyssey, so you can actually find out the stuff that the World Health Organization, the CDC, the MHRA, the Irish regulator, the YouTube don't want you to know about, because it's standard procedure within medical ethics to not get a second opinion. Have I understood that correctly, Pat? And
to not get a second opinion.
Is that I'm not medically qualified, so please tell me.
No, we never mind people getting second opinions.
I did have my tongue in cheek. Okay, so all right.